Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Matt and it is Wild Wednesday. Yes, folks, a TGIW. It is already hump day. Yes, yes, yes. Before I go on to anything, I do hope that all of you guys had a fantastic weekend in the first couple days of the week. I'm sorry I wasn't here Monday. Schedule just got a little away from me and I just wasn't able to do a video for you. I hope you guys forgive me for that. But anyways, before I roll on to anything else, I want to ask you to like, share, and subscribe. I love seeing you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or at least I try to be here for those days. Sometimes, obviously, schedule gets away from me, or major holidays happen, and I definitely don't do anything on major holidays except for the whole family shindig things. Anyways, and then also one last thing, check out the description box. I give you a little bit of information in there to help you give you a bigger bite of the daily film, such as your brief synopsis, your starring cast, your director, your runtime of the cut I am watching, along with an MPAA rating, if there is one that exists, which most of the time there's not going to be one. Some trivia, if I find anything worthwhile of mentioning, and then a link for either a trailer or a scene from the movie itself. So I give you a little bit more in there to help you decide if you wish to track down a copy and stream it, or buy a copy, watch it, however you want to watch your movies. Hopefully it'll help you decide on if you want to check it out or not. And today's is definitely one I do recommend, especially for my fans of the old school Italian horror. This is definitely one of my new favorites. I absolutely loved it when I rewatched it the other day. And I've rewatched it twice since I've gotten it. Since I purchased it, and I loved it more and more each time, and it's one of those that it doesn't get enough love, in my opinion, and I feel like it should. Now, this one came out back in 1978, so it is 43 years old today. It's hard to believe it is that old, and yes, it has aged quite a bit. It's the Italian cannibal genre phase, the Italian cannibal exploitation phase that they did, and is none other than Slave of the Cannibal God, aka Mountain of the Cannibal God, and then there's I think a couple other names that it ran through as well. But either way, this is a very fun release. Now, don't expect anything as far like a whole lot of special features with this one here. You do get two cuts of the film, though. You do get the unrated cut, and then you get the U.S. theatrical cut, which I'm sure there is a huge difference between the two, because a lot of times the theatrical cuts are a little shorter. I went ahead and just watched the unrated cut. I'm pretty sure I've seen the theatrical cut years ago, because I do have a really, really old Diamond Video DVD of this. Yes, folks, I said Diamond Video. They haven't existed in a hot minute now, at least 20 years that I know of, if not longer. They were a very interesting third-rate kind of label that had some interesting titles upon their filmography, and a lot of them were cut, unfortunately. Now, this one here is completely uncut, like I said. As far as other special features go, you get an interview with Stacy Keach both before the movie starts. When you go to watch the theatrical cut, you have a nice little brief little thing with him, basically introducing the film for you. And then there is a standalone interview on there with him as well, which is a very nice, informative, very cool interview, because Stacy Keach seems like he's a really cool dude. I would like to hang out with Mr. Keach at least once. I know he ran into some troubles back in his early career, and he got busted for smuggling coke, if memory serves me correct. But it definitely tarnished his career quite a bit, and he did recover, but never to the degree that he was going in, because he was definitely on his way up to becoming a very large star. Now, don't get me wrong; he has done all types of things. Road Games is one of my favorite movies that he has ever done. He also did Class of 1999. What else has he done? American History X, he plays a very nasty, mean, bigoted character in there, and he does a great job. And then he did, I believe, the show Prison Break, if memory serves me as well. But the guy is definitely no slouch when it comes to being in front of the camera. And then also at his co-starring, he's got the beautiful Ursula Andres, who was a Bond girl, which that's what I know her mostly as. I didn't really recognize her from anything else other than Doctor No. But she is other this and that are the two things I know her for mostly. This one is the one I watch more often. I haven't watched Doctor No in probably 20 years, if that. Maybe even longer. Either way, that doesn't really matter. But as far as anything else goes for special features, there is a trailer gallery, I believe, on here. Yeah, trailers. But either way, and this one runs at an hour and 43 minutes. That unrated cut, just to let you know. I like I said, I forgot to check out what the runtime was on that U.S. theatrical cut, but I imagine it's probably shaved down because when I watched it years ago, I don't remember animal cruelty stuff, and then unfortunately with this, with that Italian exploitation genre phase that they went through, there was animal cruelty stuff, and yeah, it's disgusting, and it's something that unfortunately happened at the times. Thank God we are no longer in those days where we treat a creature like that as poorly as they did. Most notably, I think of the tortoise from Cannibal Holocaust. Like, holy shit. But either way, it definitely has that. This one also it kind of has a jungle Holocaust vibe feel going on. Because our tribe that does happen to capture our damsel in distress and our two main heroes, does happen to capture them, and they stay in a cave like environment, and it just really was reminiscent to Jungle Holocaust, which I believe came out some years after this. So Jungle Holocaust might have borrowed some stuff from this one. Now, what exactly is it about? It's about this Ursula Andress's husband is an explorer. He went to this island. He went to the island of New Guinea to this what is it? Ra-Rami or something. Yeah, Ra-Rami mountain in the middle of New Guinea that is known to have a abundant supply of natural radiation. Not many people knew that. Blah 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 blah. I find that hard to believe. Whatevs. He's lost. They never find him. Or he goes missing. That's what I want to say. He goes missing. So Ursula Andres and her brother, played by Claudio Cassinelli, they both go down to New Guinea, and they get Ursula Andress's husband partner, or Professor whatever his name is, Professor Edward Foster, and that's Stacy Keach's character. Persuades Stacy Keach to go down and help locate her husband. And so they get down there and they run into all kinds of things in between A and B and C and D. It's just a constant every thing, something happening. It's not really the most memorable in places, but it does have its very memorable spots, because once they get captured by the cannibals, it does pick up quite tremendously, to a degree that I liked it. Because let's just face it, we watch these Italian cannibal flicks for the meat and potatoes. We want to see the cannibals doing their deeds, and when they get there, they do locate her husband, who is actually dead, and they notice that he had a Geiger counter just going off the charts, and they had planted it in his chest, thinking that it was his heart and that he was basically this ever living deity, and they had created him. He is basically a godlike creature to them. Granted, he is dead, but they think he is ever living because of that Geiger counter. It's shows like how ignorant. I don't want to say ignorant. How things that you've never seen in your life, how you can misconstrue them and make them something that they aren't. It's kind of a an interesting psychological thing to think about it, that these people have they have been in such a state of being primitive, that this little tiny object that does literally just scales radiation on a Geiger counter, and they are able to translate it into something into a living organism, which is just, it's just mind blowing. And to think that in a world today, that there are people that don't understand small things like YouTube and TVs and computers and cars, it's crazy to think that, but it still does exist in this world today. Like the North Sentinelese people, like they are a primitive tribe that are, very secluded, that nobody is allowed to go on North Sentinel Island, which is, I believe, off the coast of India. Which, look that stuff up. That thing's crazy cool. That whole story about North Sentinel Island. It's very neat. But they happened to have found a picture that her husband had, and it was a picture of both of them, both her and her and him together, and so they automatically add two and two together, that's his wife. So they make her a queen-like deity as well, and they're going to do many, or they're getting ready to do different other rituals to basically solidify that. And all in all, our main character, Antonio Marsina, he's our main good guy, because Stacy Keach's character happens to perish and in a very horrible accident, then that Claudio Cassinelli basically let him go. It's one of those things, like he's definitely not coming back from that one. He's not going to walk off that injury. It was that bad and that gruesome. So anyways, so they are now spending the rest of the movie trying to get free. So that's what you basically got in this whole movie. It's very, very interesting. There's a nice little plot twist towards the end. Definitely things are not what you expect them to be. With a certain character in the movie, with one character, you definitely, the Claudio Cassinelli character, you saw him being a dick right away. So there's no hiding the fact that he's a total douchebag. Now, as far as any kind of ratings would go on a 1 through 10 scale, I'm going to give this one probably a 6 out of 10, because technically it's filmed okay. Sergio Martino is definitely a skilled auteur behind the camera. I like a lot of his films, like Hands of Steel and what is it, giant alligator, aka Alligator, the Italian Alligator movie. Very, very cool movie as well. I really like that one. Hands of Steel is dope. But he did other stuff like Screamers, is I think that's what it was, the fish one. Either way, but he is definitely no slouch when it comes to being behind the camera, so he knows what the hell he's doing. Um, and as far as the acting goes, Ursula Andres isn't the best actress. Stacy Keach is definitely the crown jewel as far as acting goes in this movie, and it really, really, really shows. Because our Antonio Marsina character, and then Claudio Cassinelli is probably the second best actor amongst this film. But there is other things that happen along the way. Like they hook up with another tribe, and something happens in that tribe while they're there. It's very interesting. Very, very good movie. So, like I said, I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10. Call it gold in there. And by the way, this is released by Code Red. I forgot to mention that earlier. This is a Code Red releasing. And I believe it's like a legit release, not one of those Kino Lorber re-releases, which there's nothing wrong with those. Those are great releases. I have a number of them, and I'm going to continue buying them because they are much cheaper than buying the legit Code Red releases, and they tend to be better transfers on top of it. Any Hoosers, I'm going to roll the hell on out of here, and I'll see y'all on Friday. I think I'm going to do another Italian cannibal flick for you, so definitely look out for that.